Hello, amazing humans. So, where it all begins. Well, for me, it begins here at age 47, my first Facebook Live. This is an interesting step for me. This is not a realm I thought I would ever find myself stepping into. And I'm going to come clean. I don't want to, but I am Mr. Vulnerability. Um, Anyone who knows me and knows a little about my story and my life is going to find this rather strange admission. But this terrifies me in a good way. I can't tell you why. For someone who spends his life delving into the subconscious and its power over our lives and how it guides us, an unseen force that makes decisions that we're unaware of. I have no clue why this one exists. It might be one of those ones that's just there to overcome. So I'm gonna put it out there. So and for a coach to do that, I hope it's taken the right way. My main reason for getting on here today was to share an experience I had a couple of weeks ago. I was gifted an incredible opportunity to head to Kakadu, north of Australia, God's country, beautiful indigenous land, to do what I can only refer to as a spiritual boot camp. I don't think that does it any justice at all. What it was an opportunity to share some time with 10 men out in the bush and understand the warrior, the ego, the father, and the wounds of the father, which is probably where I'll focus on mostly today. Now, as a coach, I've spent many time in books and in YouTube and in training and in trying to understand for over 25 years what makes us who we are. I've put a lot of time, a lot of energy into it for my own journey, and as I share more on Facebook, that'll become clear. I've overcome some incredible things, many of my own making. Um, whether we talk about 2 stints in an African prison, facing down problem lions, an elephant in Africa for 10 years, trapping, relocating, operating on them, to teen years as a criminal, to early childhood abduction, to other bits and pieces that come up in those earlier years. Why I'm bringing them up now is because I was enlightened in an incredible way by an incredible human who created this process that I got to live throughout in that bush. And it was this idea of the father and the father wound. Now, I never had a dad, like I think many. This isn't uncommon in this day and age. But what I'd failed to understand was the depth of what that had done to me as a man and my connection with other men. It was quite obvious to me looking at the history of my life that I didn't exactly have a great relationship with other men. I fly solo, I do it my way, I make it up as I go along, and I pretty much haven't done a bad job for most of it. But there was something missing, and I had no clue what it was until 2 weeks ago when I got to bond, um, crush egos, sweat, swear, scream, and become raw with a group of incredible human beings who I'd only met in that moment. Now, what I've come to understand is that this father wound is a pandemic of its own. The seriousness of what's happening to a generation of men whose fathers knew no better. This is not about pointing fingers and laying blame. This is about understanding the power of the connection with your father, or the lack of if you didn't have, and what it's playing out in your life right now. Um, I think for today, being my first Facebook Live, I'm not going to get into the technical. I'm going to use this as a launch pad to talk about this more, because my aim is to shift my coaching maybe more into a more male dominated world, or a more masculine energy dominated world. So that won't be purely men, but I really feel that we need to start paying a lot more focus and attention to the disconnected male, because we're breeding more disconnected men. And this isn't going to stop until we choose to change. And this means understanding healthy connections with other men, not drinking piss and watching footy. And I'm not against it, but I mean a deeper connection, that connection that we probably all craved from that father figure who just couldn't provide it because it wasn't offered to him and it wasn't offered to his father before him or before him. So this is one of those moments where I'm going to start offering people insight and a hand to break that generational noose and to offer our sons a completely different way of life. Thanks for listening, guys. That went a little bit better as planned, and I'm actually really excited about the prospect of unraveling my life and my story, my experiences, and giving. Because once I get to share it with you all, you'll see the immense wealth in what happens when we connect with people vulnerably and sincerely about the things that have happened to us, and how that offering of sincere connection to those places inside our souls is going to offer a choice of healing. And I want to offer that choice to everyone I meet and interact with. Thanks, guys.